Good afternoon, students. How have you been? How is the lockdown treating you and all this readjustment to a new way of learning online? I know it's quite challenging for some of you, but with time, everything is going to be okay. All right. So I'm just requesting for your patience, for your courage, for your hard work, and then you just do. We hope that this will end very soon. Okay. Anyways, welcome to our teaching method first online session. I've been quiet for some times. I know I posted few notes and assignment. One was posted already on the first system, and then when we switched to the other system again, I only uploaded the assignment, but I did not yet re-upload all the notes. But I decided, okay, let me first just do it one by one. And then I decided now today we are going to have our first lesson online. Okay, so let's do this. So, well, today we are going to talk about the, all right, there you go. The teaching method, the art of teaching. Okay, so this teaching methods is applicable to both postgraduates and undergraduate students. Okay, for the postgraduate, I know this is a one-year program where you only want to learn how to teach. While for the undergraduate, that is the process that you started already 2 years ago. Now you are in your third years. And then, of course, you have an idea of what teaching is all about. But the teaching methods, this is a module that equips you with the methodological aspect for this specific specialized subject. Okay, so my groups are commerce. Okay, so meaning for those who are doing commerce, you are at the right time. All right, so we have accounting, economics, business studies, entrepreneurship, and I think office practice for the undergraduates. They are all under this platform. They are all actually under me. All right. So, well, but this teaching method is just general teaching methodology. It is to equip you to understand what do you mean by teaching. And now from there, you are now expected to put it into your own subject area. Okay. Of course, the way you teach business study is not the same way you teach accounting. It's not the same way you teach mathematics, and it's not the same way you teach economics or entrepreneurship. Okay, depends on the type of the subject. Some subjects are theoretical, some subjects are practical, some subjects are numerical, and it goes on like that. So the way you teach mathematics is not the way you teach business studies. So that's why now the teaching methodology is introducing you to the subject of, your specialized subject. You have two subjects, right, that you specialized in. Yes. So now you are now expected to learn how to teach each one of those subjects. Okay. So let's start. So, my name is Miss Alfandel Nyama. I'm your teaching method. I know some of you already met during our face-to-face sessions, and then probably some of you are still new. All right. So I'll be a lecturer for teaching method for those who are doing commerce modules. And then for those who are doing other modules, you're still going to have another lecturer. But anyways, this one applies to all the subjects because it's just a general teaching methodology. All right. So today we are going to look at the concept of teaching. Let me just start with our slides. Okay, the concept of teaching, okay, or the concept in teaching and the art of teaching. And then there is a word pedagogy, and some students, they always freaked out. What do you mean by that word, pedagogy? But how come you don't even know the word that is connected to your upcoming career? Okay, yes, that's why we are here to learn, right? So pedagogy, the reason why you want, especially for the postgraduate, the reason why you register for that course, you want to be trained to become a teacher, and you want to gain that skill or knowledge. And how do we call that skill? We call it now the pedagogy. Okay, is the skill that you acquire when you become a professional teacher, meaning that you have that pedagogical skill. Okay, so what is the learning objectives for today? So Today we are going to we are going to discuss what is teaching. It sounds so easy, right? What is teaching? Ask yourself that question before you even move on. What is teaching? Okay, then we're also going to look at the purpose of teaching. Okay, let's go back. The purpose of teaching and the process of teaching, the types of teaching, the various teaching methods, the quality of a good teaching or the good teacher, and how best to teach. All right. So as this whole teaching method class or module is only to teach you how to teach. Okay. How best to teach. So let's start. What is teaching? Again, I will ask you the same question. What is teaching? So teaching is not only happening in class whereby there's a teacher and the learner. You know that, right? It happens in our everyday life. Okay? So this COVID-19 taught us a lot of things, isn't it? To sanitize, lockdown. Probably a lot of you never even heard the word quarantine before, but now you have learned that, right? But it was not taught in class. So teaching happens everywhere. That's why I said now, but when you become a professional teacher, then you say you have pedagogy. You have that pedagogy. All right, let's see. What is teaching? It's a process intended for learning by inducing a behavioral change in the taught. All right? So, meaning that, just look the way COVID-19 taught us. Okay? So, we are now being taught, so our behavior changes in it. Now we clean our hands, we're wearing masks, we do what, because we're being taught something. But by who? Nobody. But now in schools, okay, when you become a teacher, it's still the same thing. You are infusing something into your learners. You are teaching them something. So which will change, which will influence their changes in the behaviors, okay, in the thought, okay? So once you teach them something, they'll be able to practice it. They'll be able to do it. They'll be able to understand it better and so on. So it is also an art of communicating a message with the impact of an audience. So of course, you are communicating. When you're a teacher in class, you're communicating a message, right? And then you must have an impact on your learners. And then the last one, that word, pedagogy. Pedagogy is an art or profession of teaching. So when we become now a professional teacher, the way we are now training you to become professional teacher, and that is now what we call the pedagogy, an art of teaching. Right, good. So first, before we move on to the process of teaching, I would like you to understand this. The 21st century learning. Ask yourself, what's so different that you are doing, especially when you are postgraduate, that you didn't do 12 years back, okay? You know, the world is changing very fast. We were in the 20th century, now we are living in the 21st centuries. We are living the fourth industrial revolution now. Imagine now we are even learning just like this online. It never happens, I think, 25 years back. Okay, maybe 25 is still, but maybe 30 years back. So meaning that you should also understand now the learning in the 21st century, the learning using a laptop, the learning using smartphones. So of course, the learning, what is supposed to happen? You can see this is a circle of learning, okay? So meaning that what to know in the 21st century. So it's a digital age. We are living in the digital age, okay? Our ICT literacy. How can I be able to teach you if I'm not, I don't have a knowledge on IT. I don't know anything about IT, all right? So meaning that this 21st centuries, it requires us to know how to use the ICT and so on, okay? So the core content knowledge, what do you mean by the content knowledge? That is the content of your subject, okay? You will not be able to teach accounting if you don't know the content of accounting. How can you teach asset is equal to owners equity plus liabilities if you don't know it? So meaning that you should know the content of your subject. You should know how to use ICT. And then cross-disciplinary knowledge. What do you mean by cross-disciplinary knowledge? So this part, I will give you an example of accounting again. Okay, of course, that is one of my favorite subjects. I was an accounting teacher. All right, so in accounting, it's just not accounting on its own. There's a lot of other knowledge that are involved in accounting, isn't it? There's theory, there's business, okay, whereby you have to prepare books for the business. There is a mathematics where you have to do calculations. There's other connected knowledge to that accounting. So that's why you should understand also that that particular subject is just not alone. It's also connected to other disciplinary knowledge. So it's a cross-curricular kind of. All right, and then to act. First, you must know this. You must know the ICT, you must know the content knowledge, you must know the other knowledge that is related to your subject, and now you act. When you act now, that's when you become creative, okay? For you, once you learn, when you know something, then you create new knowledge or you become creative. You'll be able to solve problems or think critical, okay? Because most of the time, when you teach something to the learner, you would want them to become critical thinkers or innovators, okay? So that they will think beyond, right? And also communication and collaboration, whereby they have to work together with others. And the last one is now the last stage, whereby to value their knowledge, okay? To value their knowledge. So meaning that, so that is now when you become a professional teacher. So you have your life or your job skills. You now know how to teach accounting because you were taught accounting and you were also taught how to teach accounting. So now you'll be able to become a teacher. So now you are teaching because that process happened. And then your emotional awareness will also develop, and also your cultural competency will also come in. So that is now what the world that you are now currently living in. All right. Now, the next thing is the purpose of teaching. Why teaching? It's almost connected to what is teaching, isn't it? Teaching creates knowledge, awareness, and feelings in the thought, and brings about behavioral change. It creates knowledge. Remember, just go back to this. You create knowledge, you act, and you value. It's almost the same. You create knowledge, awareness, feelings in the thought to be able to act, and then your behavior will change. That's now when you value it. All right. So the process of teaching. The process of teaching. How does teaching happen? Okay. Now we are referring now to the normal teaching. Okay. Not normal, but formal teaching. Because I say teaching happens in every day of our lives. But there is now this formal teaching where it happens in the classroom, where there is a teacher and a learner. And that is what you call the teacher's pedagogy, okay? Knowing how to teach. Good. So the process of teaching, it happens from here. Here is, you are just alone as a teacher and you prepare yourself, okay? You prepare what you want to go teach for that day, all right? And then after you are done with your preparation, then you go and pass the message to who? To your learners, okay? And then what happens when you're passing the message? Your message must be clear. Your message must be accurate. It must be brief, and it must be specific, okay? If you are teaching accounting, you just don't wake up and say, today I'm going to teach cash book, tomorrow balance sheet, no. You have to be specific, like, okay, today we are going to talk about cash book. Where are we going to start? Maybe the type of cash book, how to prepare a cash book, how to balance a cash book. It depends on what you prepare for that day, and it must be connected, right? Good. And then after that, you thought. The thought has happened. So you have to know whether your objective has been achieved. And then this one now, it will learners, so they will be sensitized, okay? And then you create awareness. So here now, you create your awareness, okay? You sensitize that knowledge, all right? And then now, remember, this is a two-way thing, a teacher and a learner, teaching and learning. Yes. So how does learning happens now? You should also know, okay? Because you just don't want to be a teacher, but you don't know how learning happens. You should know how teaching happens and also how learning happens. Now, when you teach the way you did in the previous, when you teach here, what happens now to the learners? You teach the knowledge, they acquire knowledge, okay? And also the attitude of the learners will change. So when they acquire knowledge, they'll start know. Remember our first diagram whereby you have to know first, and then after knowing you act, and then after act you value. Good. So now the knowledge, and then once you taught that knowledge, you will know, and then it will develop your cognitive domain. All right. And then teaching also create attitudes, behavioral change. Remember we're talking about behavioral change, okay? And then you become, and then that will develop your psychomotor domain. And then after the psychomotor domain, then you come to affective domain, whereby now you'll be able to do something or practice. Now, this is when you become professional teachers. You practice because you've been taught. So that's how the teaching happens. So this is the cycle of teaching. All right. The types of teaching. The types of teaching. So before we go to the types of teaching, there are three pictures that I put up. Okay. Picture A, B, and C. All right, so let's look at picture A. What is happening in that classroom? The teacher is standing at the front of the class and she's teaching and learners are listening. The next one, the teacher is working together with the learners. She's asking questions and learners are raising their hands and nothing on the board. The next one, this teacher is working together, okay? It's actually giving learners group work. It's kind of a group work, right? All right, so now ask yourself a question. Whom do you think is a good teacher here? Who? Okay, no, there's not what you call good or bad teaching style. No, depends, okay? So depends. Yeah, sometimes you want to just teach. Sometimes you just want to work together with the learners. Sometimes you just want learners to work together and you just facilitate or monitor them. Okay, but what does this mean? The types of teaching. We do have types of teaching, okay? And then there's always the best, the recommended one. We have active teaching, whereby learners are actively involved in teaching. So now look at those three pictures. Which teacher do you think is having active teaching? There's passive teaching, whereby the teacher is the one who's a role player in teaching. Okay, active is when learners are actively involved, while passive is when the teacher, he's the one who's actively involved. That's why now these two work together again. Learner-centered is when the learners are at the center of learning. They are the one, they are involved in learning. You're asking them questions, you work together, you collaborate with them. Why teacher-centered? That's when only the teacher is the one who's doing a lot, giving learners and spoon feed them and do all that. So that's why teacher-centered goes well with passive, while learner-centered goes well with active. Now, you go back to this picture and put the names. The teacher A, do you think is active? Learner-centered or teacher-centered? Teacher B, is it learner-centered or teacher-centered? And teacher C. We also have something that I did not really list here, collaborative learning. Okay, so probably you're also gonna put that one in one of those pictures. So I would like you to give name to each of those pictures. What defines that class? And then which class do you think is better or the best in the 21st centuries? Good. Let's look at it more. Okay. Teacher-centered learning and student-centered learning or learner-centered learning. The teacher-centered learning, you can see, is in a hierarchical format. While learner-centered learning is like in a cycle. format, okay, where there's knowledge, experience, belief is coming in, not only about accounting, about cash book. That is when now the experience is about, you know, when you prepare a cash book, you prepare a cash book whereby you prepare your daily cash. I mean, not your daily, your cash, incoming cash and outgoing cash. Okay, so this is something you can already put in learners' experience or what they have seen around when they are selling their seats or whatever, and then you try now to work together and make meanings and work together with the learner collaborative, and then individual and collaborative learning that happens. While here now as a teacher, you have your knowledge, you have your experience. What you do is you just sending it down to the learners in the class. Can you see here? Learners are seated separately there, and then here you can see they are in groups of 2, of 3. They are working together, and then you can see the arrows is teacher and also going to the learners, while here the arrows is just going down, but here is a two-way arrow. All right, so meaning this is what happens. This is what you call learner-centered approach, and this is what you call teacher-centered approach. And then our Namibian curriculum, what do they recommend? They say we must adopt our learner-centered approach, because learners, they are not empty vessels just to be spoon-fed or to be felt. They have ideas from their experience, from their beliefs, and they are from previous knowledge or something. So meaning that you work together to create that learning. Teacher and learners working together. Okay, now go back to those pictures and see which one do you think is practicing learner-centered than the other picture. All right? Method of teaching. All right. We have a lot of teaching methods. Okay, the methods is, sometimes we teach using a certain method unconsciously. All right, so you don't know that information transfer method. Let me say information transfer method is almost the same as teacher center. You just give information, or how the lecturers do. You just give information, you just transfer information, and there's no communication, there's no collaboration there. All right, this experiential method, whereby they're experiencing something. Okay, so you are teaching your learners how to use mobile device. Okay, meaning that if you are teaching them at the same time they are doing it, so meaning they're experiencing it in practice. Investigation, when you are investigating something, you ask them to investigate and try to get answers. Or learning by doing, as I said. So we have a list of teaching methods. I would like all of you to go and get definition of each of these teaching methods and understand them better. What do they mean by demonstration method? To demonstrate, you should know, okay, no, let me say, I have this. So I have to demonstrate how to open this. You are demonstrating, right? How to close it. You are demonstrating it. So there are different ways. So it doesn't mean that you need to pick a certain method for that class. No, it's just that you can have a combined teaching method, but you should know that there are a variety of teaching. Unlike only of you to go to class and talk and learner listen. No, there are other ways you can do it. You can teach them by doing, you can demonstrate something to them, you can discuss, you can use discussion method, you can ask questions and give answers, or vice versa. You can solve a certain problem and so on. Please know the definition of each of these teaching methods. They are endless, but I only listed 12 so far. Qualities of good teaching. I mean, I would like you to think back, okay, when you were in high school. I know each one of you have your favorite teacher. I had one, okay? So now, what makes you like that teacher? I'm not talking about in terms of the dressing, the prettiness, the handsomeness, or whatever. No, I'm talking about what technique that you think that teacher used to use in class for you to understand better the content. Okay, so does that teacher used to give a lot of jokes, good examples, good whatever? I don't know. I would like you to take a piece of paper, you start listing them one by one. Teacher A, mathematics teacher. I like her because she used number 1 to prepare herself, whatever. Would you want to become that teacher? then you must start from there. Okay, criteria of a good teacher. What makes up a good teacher is when they prepare themselves. If you don't prepare, because how can you go to class if you have to prepare notes? You have to prepare homework for the learners if you're supposed to give homework. You have to prepare what you're supposed to go teach. You have to prepare the objective of the, and everything. You have to prepare yourself a day before or so. And then you write up now the lesson plan, they organize the content. Okay, so the lesson plan is just every teacher, you develop a lesson plan on a daily basis, every day before the class, Monday to Friday. Whenever you have that class, you have to prepare. You have to write up a lesson plan. In school, some of them, they have different template of lesson plan. IUM, we have our template for the lesson plan, which is standardized to all the students in Faculty of Education, which I'm going to also to upload. For now, we are only using IUM lesson plan template, but schools, they have different, but the components, they are the same. The content is the same, all right? So the good quality and optimum quantity. Of course, when you're going to teach, you're going to teach accounting. You have a textbook, you're going to use textbook, you're going to use syllabus, and so on. You are not expected to finish the whole textbook in one day. No. So you're supposed now to make sure that you prepare quality teaching and also at optimum quantity. So you don't overteach and you don't underteach. Okay. Because if you underteach, you might need 2 years to complete the syllabus. And if you are overteach, you might be teaching, but learners will not get anything from you because you are teaching them too much in one lesson. Remember, in school, mostly the lesson are 45 minutes or 90 minutes. So you make sure that you only prepare something that you think learners will learn in 90 minutes or in 45 minutes. Sequencing, the way you teach, okay, the sequencing, the flow of ideas. Okay, let me say you are teaching a circle. If you are teaching a cycle or steps, let me say step. Let me give you an example of steps. You start from step 1, step 2, step 3. So that's what we call sequencing. You cannot say no, you teach step 1, you jump to step 6, you go to step 4, you go to step 3. No, you have to make sure that your teaching is in a sequential form. Okay, and then the relevancy. The content must be relevant. Even the example that you are giving must be relevant, because sometimes I'm seeing student teachers, they are teaching a certain concept and the example that they are giving you, they say, no, today we are going to talk about the types of business. You know, we have sole trader, we have partnership, we have close cooperation and whatnot. And then what is close cooperation is when one person say, oh God, or when you give an example which doesn't make sense. It must be relevant whatever you are teaching. And learner-oriented, okay? So make sure that you work together with the learners. You build on the learners' previous knowledge, what they already know from their home environment or wherever, all right? So they know something about whatever you're teaching for the day, but you have to make sure that they are oriented to it, okay? How to teach? Of course, we're still going to have a session on how to present the lesson from the beginning to the end, what to do during your lesson. Okay, but anyways, let me just take you to introduce you to the teaching practice. You said induction. Okay, this induction that is when you enter that class. You cannot just enter the class and you start teaching. No, at least you said induction. You create that learners to be in the mood. Your learners to be in the mood, isn't it? You even make sure that they sit properly. You make sure that you probably post 1 or 2 jokes. You just want them to you just want to put them in that good mood. You understand? Then after that, when you know that now they are ready to learn, then of course you can introduce the topic. Okay? When you introduce the topic, then remember you have your lesson plan that you did a day before. Then you organize your topic one by one. Okay, if you are teaching them the types of what types of business, then you list them one by one. When you list them one by one, then you explain them one by one. Okay, then number 4, reinforcement. Okay, or stimulating. So reinforcement is just to do what? To make sure that you're now working together and you're asking them questions. You are reinforcing, okay? You keep on simulation and giving good examples, giving good experimental or demonstrate good whatever you are teaching for that day. And after that, you conclude your lesson. And then, of course, we are going to learn more how to introduce a topic, how to present the topic, and how to conclude a lesson as well in our next sessions. Okay, so anyways, teaching in general is an art. Can you see the art behind me? Yes, you are also expected to create that art or to draw. It's an artwork. It's just not about reading in the textbook or go in class and just write the summary on the board and you think that I'm done with teaching. No, 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 no. You have to be creative. You have to use your mind because there is no one way, okay? There's no a full step that is created like this is what you're supposed to do in your class. No, it's absolutely up to you to decide how you are going to teach that subject or that topic that day. But you have to be creative because it's an art, okay? And then teaching dimensions. Teacher develop is mutual with the learner's development, and it's vice versa. So meaning that you are working together with the learners, okay? You as a teacher also learn from them. They learn from us. You just don't think that you know everything. Learners can be smart and they can know also something about whatever you're teaching or that you might also know. Then you're learning from them. Okay. Anyways, this is end of our session, our first session for today. So let's meet in our chat room. And then remember, the assignment or the homework that I gave you is for you to think of that favorite teacher of yours in high school or wherever in primary school, and then list up all the things that you liked about that teacher. What makes you like about that teacher? All right. So, and then of course, I'll be posting assignment 2 very soon. And then for now, I just want to monitor how far you submitted your assignment 1. And please, I would like you to learn how to submit your assignment online text. Okay, instead of uploading it, because if you upload the folder, it requires me to download it into my laptop, which I have to do it manual. At the end of the day, I'm unable to receive 300 or download 300 assignment in my laptop. So it's easier for me if you post it online text. I'll be able to mark it online and be able to give you marks online, and automatically you receive your marks and your feedback just in 1 minute. So please learn how to do that, and then I'll see you soon. Let's meet in a chat room. Whatever question you have, please post it, and then we discuss it from there. Take care of yourself until next time. All right, until next time. Bye-bye.